And I'm going to share with you my thoughts, my predictions for Sunday's games. These are Sunday's games. They are games for the 15th of January 2023. And I'm posting this on 2023 in January 15th. But it's like 12:30 at night when I'm posting this. Sure it would have been. But anyways, so my thoughts is the first game 1 p.m. Eastern time in Orchard Park, New York. It is the 7th seed in the AFC, Miami Dolphins, against the 2 seed Buffalo Bills. And they are the pseudo 2 seed because they had a game canceled against the Bengals due to Damar Hamlin's injury. In the teams and the players made the decision with the refs and everything, and then the NFL and then the league officials and everything, they decided just to cancel the game, and they were going to postpone it, and then they decided just to without canceling instead of make a time for it. And then but I still think now they have 2 out and he's concussed. I don't think he's probably ever going to play football again. I think it's going to be hard for him to play football again. Mainly just because of the fact that, with his, injuries, and his, so many concussions and him trying to play through them and stuff like that, he might as well just retire and get out. And so, before his brain gets too messed up and stuff. But then Teddy Bridgewater was his backup, and he's out. So Skylar Thompson, they're predicting to be the starter. And Skylar Thompson, I don't have hope for Skylar Thompson. I really don't. I think Skylar might be good. I don't think he's good enough to win a playoff game. If he's been Teddy has some moments where he's actually played in games. He actually played football for a while. He was the starter for the Vikings. He's been the starter for a little bit here and there. And he actually knows what it's like to start more than Skylar does. So I think, and the Bills, Josh Allen, they know what's up. They know how to play. He knows. He's been in, big games before. Big regular season games. He's played a bunch of big, playoff games as well. A bunch of big playoff games as well. And, wild cards, division rounds, NFC championships, or AFC championships. He's never been in the Super Bowl, but he's played in AFC championships and big games, and he's won big playoff games, and he's won big regular season games, and he's also lost them as well. But I think it's gonna be by 15 or 20 points. It should be a pretty big win for them. 15 to 20, I would say, for Buffalo. There should be no way Buffalo loses that game, especially being at home with the third string backup in. The Giants and Vikings, and 1 p.m. on CB. The game, the Dolphins at Bills. It's gonna be at CBS at 1 p.m. Eastern with Jim Nance and Tony Romo and Tracy Wilson. And then and maybe another sideline, 2 sideline reporters, but I don't know who the second one would be. And then at 4:30 Eastern on 3:30 Central, when the game is actually being played, is depends when the game's being played in, is the Giants, the 6 seed in the NFC against the 3 seed, the Minnesota Vikings, in Minnesota at US Bank Stadium. And it is on Fox, and it is Kevin Burkhardt and that crew. They are the main play-by-play announcers and the main commentators for Fox NFL. And after they took over as they were the number 2 crew, but they ended up taking over as the 1. Greg Olson then is number 1 now. He got put in that role with Kevin Burkhardt's replacement. He finally replaced him from it, and they ended up making him the replacement with Kevin Burkhardt's replacement, which was Charles Davis. He placed Charles Davis with CBS with Ian Eagle as the number 2 crew. The same position. The number 2 crew for NFL. The new main game or the noon second game. If Jim Anson's remember going to game at noon, because there's no two national CBS. But anyways, I think the Giants with the Vikings, they have a bunch of injuries, so they're on like their backups. Their offensive line is pretty banged up. So I think, it's going to be tough. It all depends on the offensive line, how they play, because like they're going to be at home, and it's going to help them a little bit more. And they got practice playing in more practice, because they were pretty much just kind of thrown into it, playing in a ruckus environment in Green Bay, and they kind of got thrown into it a little bit, and they weren't, and in this way they got some practicing under their belt, practicing them in the actual game. Now let's see if they can get some practice in practice time during the playoff, like during the practice for the game, and see if they can actually get some game reps and actually play well in the playoffs. They might have some of their best starters, but like their second strings in, like their backups instead of like their third strings. Like there are some other players who move the positions they don't play very often. Some get played their like backup of this position, or like the backup say right, like they switch. Like the left tackle play right tackle if the right tackle's injured, or flip flop spots, and they'll play that, and the backup left tackle play the left tackle position, or something like that. Stuff like that. But that's really what's going on. And then Kirk Cousins needs to not turn over the football, because they've been when they don't turn the football, they're +9 in turnover. They're like +11, I believe, or +9 or something in turnover margin. But then they have like a worse turnover, I believe it's +11 games that they've played, the games that they've won. And then in all the games they lost, they're -9, combined -9. So they need to actually play well. That includes like a close game against the Lions. They lost a close one there. So, but yeah, it is what it is though. In the game against the Eagles, I mean they had 2, but might have forced some errors, but they haven't really many turnovers there. I don't know if they had any against the Lions. Maybe they did, but it's really against the Cowboys and the Packers where they had turnovers. But if they can avoid the turnovers, I think they have a good chance to win. But the Giants, though, they have to play clean football as well. It's all going to come down to who can play clean football in Giants-Vikings, and how the Vikings offensive line holds up. If the backups are in and playing, do they have enough practice or do they in the game reps, both in the game against the Packers, in the game against, especially at their center, like the backups, do they have enough practice, at least kind of play a decent enough game to, even if they don't play their greatest game, they just play enough to win the game, play good enough just to win the game, like at the last second, give them a chance to win at the last second, or and then it's all that matters. you know. And don't and if they give mistakes up, don't make them super costly mistakes, like super costly sacks or super costly like this or that breakdowns, And I still think the Vikings can win though, because they did beat the Giants at home, and they were playing the Giants at home, and the Giants started out 6-1 in the regular season, and now they're 3-7, and now they're 3-6-1 in the last 10 games, so they're 9-7-1. So I think that also favors the Vikings. So through 6-1. Now to go to 9-7-1. I don't like that. It's like, yeah, I mean, so I say Vikings win, but I'm gonna say Vikings win by 5. I'm gonna say they win by 4 or 5, maybe 6 at the most. But they don't win by a whole lot. They squeak by. Because I kind of want to see how the offensive line plays. And then that one. And then we have the night game, Sunday Night Football on NBC at 8:15 Eastern in Cincinnati, Ohio. It is 5 seed in the AFC. The last AFC playoff game, Super Record Weekend, is the Baltimore Ravens taking on is the 5. Actually, it is the 6 seed Baltimore Ravens against the 3 seed Cincinnati Bengals. And the Cincinnati Bengals Bengals won to win the division. I mean, they automatically had the division one because their game was canceled and they based up winning percentage. But they were going to do a coin flip if the Ravens won. And the Ravens rested some of their starters. They were like their second string backup quarterback. They rested him. They rested some of their starters that they normally play, and their starters that they won't need to save for the playoffs. They just back up because Lamar Jackson's hurt and he's not playing. They're not predicting in the playoff, and they're predicting the backup Taylor Huntley to play. So they need him healthy. And Lamar's just not ready yet. Lamar's close, but he's not quite ready yet. And then they're the Bengals are pretty healthy. So, but I still think the Bengals. It's not gonna be a huge blow, but I also think the Bengals are pretty ahead of Ravens. I do think. Last game though, last game of their season doesn't mean much, but they've played them twice on the division, and this is another divisional match. There's 3 games in the playoffs. There are divisional rematches in wild card. Seattle played San Francisco. That's the 3rd time they're playing again. The 3rd time for the Bills taking on the Dolphins. Is their AFC East rivals? Is their AFC and AFC North rivals? Ravens and Bengals. But I see the Bengals winning probably by maybe 10. I'd say probably 10 to 14 in that range. Somewhere around there. I don't think it's by 15, 20 points. I don't see being by like that much. I think if something, they might keep it close, late. I think Taylor Huntley might slow it down a little bit. Well, Joe Burrow and the Bengals might want to play a little bit faster paced, and that might keep it a little lower than maybe say 15 to 20 or maybe 21 plus 21, the 3-4 touchdown area. So, and yeah, and then I'm gonna do tomorrow or today. Actually, when the games run, I'm gonna do my thoughts on the games after all the games run, and then make a separate video on my thoughts on Monday Night Football, which is the final game in the Super Record Weekend. Number 5 seed Dallas Cowboys against number 4 seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers on ABC and ESPN for Joe Buck and Troy. And then on ESPN2 is the main cast with Payne and Eli. So talk about that game tomorrow and a recap and my thoughts on after the game's ended. So peace out.